Today we're going to do two recipes. One is a tabbouleh, and it's called, this particular recipe is called a Texas tabbouleh because we are going to be adding a few additional ingredients. Now, traditional Lebanese tabbouleh, which we happen to love, is basically your parsley, your bulgur wheat or some type of a wheat, tomatoes, cucumbers, and a scallion. But what we're doing today with this particular recipe, we're adding beans, black beans, and we're adding red pepper. And what I wanted to do is I saw this recipe and I said, oh, that sounds good because it would make a nice hearty lunch. Trying to reduce some of the meat consumption, I figured, all right, it would make a nice lunch adding the beans for the protein. So if you minus the beans and minus the red peppers, you do have your traditional Lebanese tabbouleh. And tabbouleh is basically a parsley salad. Now, and again, with any recipe, use what you have and what you like. If you like the dressing and you like the ingredients, well, maybe you can use some cilantro if you like, and parsley. You could possibly use parsley and maybe some chopped up spinach. We're, not going to serve this to Emerald or Bobby Flay or anything. So, whatever you want to, whatever your tastes are, is great. So for the Texas tabbouleh, we're going to use 1 cup of bulgur wheat. And what you do is you soak that in boiling water. And I have done that already for us. And it looks like a grain here. And it's nice and soft. And this gives you, it gives you your grain and a lot of roughage. We are going to make the dressing with garlic, lemon, and olive oil. And I am going to do it in a Cuisinart. It doesn't have to be. If you don't have one, you can crush your garlic, squeeze your lemons, put it in, with your olive in a jar and shake real hard, or put it in a blender, whatever you want to do. But your traditional Lebanese dressing is made with lemon and garlic and oil. We have tomatoes here. Let me take off my covers. I chopped up 3 plum tomatoes. I diced up a cucumber. I diced up the scallions. I use the white and the green parts. And I just cut off the tops if they're a little dry. And 1 red pepper diced. And a can of black beans drained. Now, for some reason, if you wanted to make the recipe and you don't like the black beans, well, then you can maybe substitute chickpeas, a cannelloni bean, red bean, whatever you like to, beef up the tabbouleh for a, nice salad. All right, so. Okay, and I have here 2 heads of, 2 nice big bunches of parsley. I just cleaned it, cut off the stems just a little bit. The stems are good, so I don't just pick off the leaves. If you want to be real fancy, you could pick off the leaves, just use that. But the stems are very good too. I cut off the bottoms, maybe about, a little more than an inch, depending on, how hard they are. And if you can put it into a food processor, if you want to make it, more fine. I just took a cutting board and diced it up. So I was able to do that and just, you know, toss it around. Okay, so your bulgur, you buy it in the store in a little package. Put it into your boiling water, and you just let it sit for 30 minutes, maybe even longer. Taste it to see that it's not too chewy. And most of the liquid will be absorbed. And then you just drain it and make sure it is cool completely if you're going to use it right away. Now for the dressing, I'm going to be taking, you know, the garlic. I have the garlic in here already in the food processor, and I just, you know, chopped it up a little bit. And it's calling for, you know, 2 large cloves of garlic. You could double the recipe and use it on anything, or maybe even 1 if you don't like the, you know, too much garlic. I have the juice of 3 lemons already squeezed here in my juicer, and the oil that I will be blending in. Okay, so I'm going to get started here. I have my parsley. I'm going to put in here my wheat. And I'm just going to give this a little toss because the wheat is a little heavier, so I'm not crushing my vegetables.
I can give you all a little fun fact.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
The tabbouleh is traditionally served of Lebanon, of course, in Lebanon. However, it was back in the Middle Ages. People served it because they did not have any meat, and everybody was actually picked on because they ate it, showing a sign of poverty. And then, of course, everybody saw how good it was and the health benefits, and now we are where we are today. And then in a moment, I'll share another little fun fact.
Oh, good, good. Yes, and we even made it, like I said, because this is called the Texas, we're adding the
Hi,
beans.
Barbara.
Yes.
It's Andrea. Hi.
Hi, how you doing?
You got it. I'm good. I just miss a little bit because I have dentist appointment. I have to go to dentist soon. So yes.
All right. So with the parsley and the wheat, I'm going to add the beans. I'm adding the heavier stuff first and kind of tossing it. Mm-hmm. And this gives you the protein to make it a nice lunch, maybe with a nice piece of pita bread. And again, toss just gently. Looks now good. I have my red peppers diced up. The tomatoes. Cucumbers. And my scallions. I'm going to gently toss it all together. It's a very colorful, healthy salad. Now, normally in a tabbouleh, there is mint, and it's great in the summer. If you're growing the mint, you can also use the diced up mint. I didn't find any in the store, so I always keep on hand the dried mint flakes. So I'm going to put about that much in my hand and just crumble it over it, and you get that nice mint flavor. And that was about a tablespoon. Oh, there it goes on the floor. We'll leave it there. That was about a tablespoon. But if you want more, you can put in more. With the fresh mint leaves, that tastes great. And if you grow your own mint, there's so many different types of mint. There's orange mint, there's chocolate mint, spearmint, peppermint, and you could experiment with that and just toss that in.
Okay, are we ready for
Feels
another
good.
fun fact? Okay,
Yes.
see that? Doesn't that look great, guys?
Yes, nice and colorful, and
Yum,
you know, especially with, you know, the beans in, and that's why this is called Texas tabbouleh. And again, you can add more beans or any type of bean that you would want. Okay, fun fact.
Okay, here we go. In 2009, a team of 350 people worked for 10 hours and created the world's largest bowl. It's weighing a staggering weight of 9,532 pounds.
Woo.
Oh,
All right.
That's
I
a lot.
love Nicole's fun facts.
So they were feeding an army.
yeah, they took a lot of
Yes, yes. All right. Okay, so the tabbouleh salad is all mixed up, and one other ingredient I need to add is the feta cheese. Feta cheese. And that you don't want to toss too much because it crumbles. Now I'm only adding a little because I couldn't find it. I went to ShopRite, I went to Aldi's, and this is what I happen to have, but I usually like a lot of feta cheese. And the recipe is calling for 1 cup. So mine might look a little shy, but you know, sometimes when you want something, they don't have it. So I tossed in a little, and you don't want to mix it up too much so it doesn't crumble and, you know, fall apart. You want maybe the larger chunks, and then it's okay to serve more on top. So the feta cheese is very good. All right. Okay, so I'm going to set this over here a second.
And just a reminder, everybody, I will email everybody the recipes after the program.
Okay, so now it's to making the dressing. I have my garlic in here, my 2 cloves of garlic. I just cut them up, and you could crush them, or, you know, however you want. I'm using the processor. If you want to, you can just put it in a jar and shake it up. You know, just make sure that everything is nice and fine. So I'm going to chop my garlic. I'm going to start with that. Then I'm going to pour my lemon juice in here. And give that a whirl. All right, now I'm going to have it turning and pour my olive oil in nice and slow, so then it emulsifies and gets a little thicker. And if you're doing this by hand in a jar, it will just be a little looser and not a problem because the flavor is still there. Now, once you make that, taste it. If you have really, really sour lemons or anything like that, you could always add a little sugar. But when you mix it up with the salad, it you know, you don't notice, you know, the taste of it. I'm going to put some pepper on the salad. You can also put on some salt if you want. And you could always take this salt shaker and spread it on. Now, I'm not going to dress the salad. You can if you're going to serve it right away, because you don't want it to, make it soggy. So I'm going to pour it in here, and you could see the color of it and the texture of it. It is, watery. It's not like mayonnaise, but it does mix everything together.
It's delicious.
So that's our tabbouleh salad, a Lebanese dish for a Mediterranean salad with bulgur, parsley, mint, and chopped vegetables. What we added was red peppers and black beans, which made it a little heartier, calling it a Texas tabbouleh. Can't really see the picture there, or I see a glare. All right, any questions on that? Now, one of the reasons I came to make the tabbouleh, because last week when I had some parsley, we were using it, or 2 weeks ago, I bought the heads of parsley, and Kat said, what were you going to make with the extra parsley? And I said the tabbouleh. So she showed interest, and I think someone else did too. So that's why we figured we would feature a healthy salad, because it's coming up, spring and the growing, and I'm sure Andrea grows a lot of good parsley.
Oh yeah.
All right. So
my husband loves shrimp scampi, that.
Oh yes, that's definitely
parsley as well.
Yes, that's definitely a great dish. All right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. So, and again, you saw how easy that was to make. The only thing that took a little time was chopping the vegetables. And again, if you have something else in there you want, if you have mushrooms and you want to dice them up, who's to say? It makes it a little healthier. So whatever you want, whatever you like, that's what you should, put into it. And it makes a very hearty salad. All right. Okay. So hope everyone tries that. The Texas tabbouleh. Now, one of the things we said we were going to make is chicken marsala. But Kat reminded us that it's Lent. So she said, how about doing a fish dish? And Nicole had this recipe for creamy garlic butter Tuscan salmon. Oh, it sounded delicious. Keep in mind that any other fish could be substituted for the salmon. Shrimp, scallops, tilapia, haddock, anything you want can be substituted. The sauce is what's going to, and is very versatile. If your husband likes chicken, make chicken, and the sauce can also be poured over it. So once you pan sear whatever you need, your shrimp, your chicken, and then you make the sauce separate, it goes over it great. Okay, so we're going to do that. And what the ingredients are is 4 salmon fillets, olive oil, butter, garlic, onion. You can use dry white wine for the broth, or chicken broth, or vegetable broth. Your choice. If you don't want to use wine or you don't have it, chicken broth or vegetable broth. We're going to use 5 ounces of sun-dried tomatoes in oil, drained, half and half, 1 3/4 cups of half and half. It's not using heavy cream, it's using half and half. Salt and pepper, baby spinach, Parmesan cheese, and we're going to garnish it with parsley, some parsley I saved in order to garnish it. Now, once you cook up the sauce, and if you would like it a little bit thicker, I like my sauces a little thicker so they kind of like coat the spoon and hold up so they stay on whatever I'm serving rather than just running off. We're going to mix cornstarch and water together, and then that would thicken your sauce. Okay, so let me just get my other pot over here, and then we'll start making this.
Okay, everybody, you're going to see a question come up on your screen. See if you can answer it.
Oh boy.
The question is, how many
No
varieties
idea.
of salmon are there?
Oh.
You just click on it for your for the answer.
Oh. Okay. Oh. Nice. How many
Totally a
varieties?
guessing game.
I'll say four. I'll say four. It's a myth. Okay.
All right, so what are the choices? Let me see here.
So
We
it's how
have
many varieties
4,
of salmon? Yep.
7, 10, or 8.
Okay.
And what do we think that is?
Okay, so it looks like everybody's done. So most of you selected the number 10, which is incorrect. I'm sorry. So here's the results. So most of you selected 10. The correct answer is actually 7.
Oh.
Oh!
I
Okay,
see.
and so the
7.
varieties
So
are
it's 6 people.
there's Chinook, Coho, Chum, Sockeye, Pink, Pacific. Uh-oh, I had them all written down. There's one more. Oops, wait. I gotta go back and look at my page. Pink.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, Masu and Imago. Those are the 2 species. They don't occur. They're usually Asian species. And then, of course, you have the Atlantic salmon. So there you go. There's that
So-
entertainment for you.
Okay.
All right, very good. Look at that. Well, we're learning here. I mean, I don't know of any other cooking show that gives such fun facts.
Yes.
We're learning how to do some new recipes and all this interesting information. All right, so let me just, do I have to hit the close button here or anything or to get rid of that?
Yeah.
My
It
mouse.
should just go away. Maybe because you have to answer.
will.
Oh, okay, so I'll just,
If you hit the close button,
oh, there it goes.
There you
it
go.
upper left side.
Okay. All right, so I have a electric frying pan here plugged in. I poured some oil in it. It's heating up. I can feel that. And I'm going to, as soon as put a little olive oil in, and then I'm going to put in my salmon. So the direction says heat the oil, season the salmon fillets with pepper, salt if you want. Sear in a hot pan, flesh side down for 5 minutes on each side, or cook until your liking. Once cooked, remove salmon from the pan and set aside. So I'm going to season them with pepper. And if you like salmon, I find when ShopRite has it, let me pull it over here, you can't see that, here are the salmon. ShopRite has them, when they have them on sale, I get the whole piece, portion them, put them in the freezer, so then we have them whenever we want them, taken out if, company comes or, we're hungry for seafood. I already have it and it was on sale.
Guess we know what Ernie's having for lunch. Salmon and tabbouleh.
That is correct. That is correct. All right, so that'll take a few minutes on each side. It says 5 minutes. Now, mine was still a little frozen, so it might take a little bit longer, but I'm gonna set the timer for 5 minutes. Okay, so once the salmon is cooked, I'm gonna do it on this side, flip it over. And again, you cook it to your liking. We're gonna take it out of the sauce. Then it's gonna want us to melt the butter and add in the garlic and the onion and saute that in the pan. It's calling for the garlic, then the onion. I think I'll reverse that. I'll put in the onion first because it takes a little bit longer for the onion to cook up, then the garlic. We're going to use white wine or broth, your choice, and allow that to cook and slightly reduce. And as the wine is cooking, the alcohol will be cooking out of that. Then we're going to add the sun-dried tomatoes. I bought a jar of the tomatoes in the oil, and they are over here. I drained them. Now, I kept the oil because I was wondering, it smelled so good. I wonder if I could use it for something else rather than just throwing it away. But here are the tomatoes. You can get them packed, dry if you didn't want the extra oil, but these are a little softer. I would suggest maybe, soaking them a little bit just to make them softer because you're not really cooking them in here a lot and you don't want something too chewy. So we have our onions, we have our sun-dried tomatoes. I have my garlic. Then once I add the sun-dried tomatoes and I saute for 1 to 2 minutes to release the flavor, I'm going to reduce the heat and then add the half and half. Bring it to a gentle simmer. We don't want to start boiling it too much at that point. And we want to keep stirring it. We don't want it to burn. Then we're going to season it with salt and pepper to your taste. Then we're going to add a bag of spinach. I have some fresh spinach here that we'll add and we'll just wilt right down in the hot mixture. If you happen to have frozen spinach, that's okay. Make sure it is thawed and then really squeeze out the extra liquid because then it doesn't dilute your sauce. So we'll do that. And then at the end, you're going to add the Parmesan cheese and just, I'm going to turn off the heat, but just keep stirring for, so that, the cheese until it melts. Then we're going to add the salmon back into the pan to heat that up, spoon some of the sauce over it, plate it, and then sprinkle it with some of the extra parsley that I have here. Now, before we add back in the salmon, I will check to see how thick my sauce is. And if I wanted it thicker, I have a teaspoon of cornstarch in here. I'm going to add a tablespoon of water in here to make a slurry. And then before I put the salmon in, put in my cornstarch mixture slurry and then let that heat up, and then you will see how nicely that thickens. Now, I make a sauce that is very similar to this with the only other difference is I don't use tomatoes. I use sun-dried tomatoes, I'm sorry. I use cherry tomatoes. and I saute them in the pot until they pop with my onions. So I'm using, instead of the sun-dried, I'm using a whole container of the tomatoes. And then, I add my spinach. Oh, there goes my 5-minute timer. And let me turn this over, and then I'll keep talking about that sauce.
Okay, while you're flipping the salmon, so anybody want to take a guess at the largest salmon caught?
Where in the world?
Pounds? Excuse me?
world?
Yes. Mhm.
I mean, in terms of length or pound weight?
Either one. You can give me either fact.
I don't know how to.
Okay, well, it was 5 feet long and it weighed 97.5 pounds.
Okay.
Wow.
Could you imagine?
Yeah.
I was going to guess 200 pounds, but that's too big a fish. Huh? I don't
Yeah.
know what they run usually.
And how big was it?
97.5 pounds, 5 feet long.
So it doesn't
Wow.
pounds.
Well, that's as tall as me. I'm 5'1".
You don't weigh 100 pounds.
Where was
Lucky.
that caught?
It was caught in the Kenai River.
That's in near Alaska.
Yep.
Oh, is it?
That's salmon land.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, and the salmon is good too. If you have a garden outside, you grow the basil, you make the pesto. We love that too. I make it, put it in the freezer, and saute up my salmon. I have my pesto, and then just put it over, and it makes a nice topping for the salmon. Also, if you have the pesto, you put it out with like a little knife, and it is great to smear on your ear of fresh corn. I love that too. Getting back to the sauce, I use the cherry tomatoes instead of the dried tomatoes, but no, I could use those too. Saute them up until they burst, they pop, they're nice and soft. I put in the spinach, everything the same. If you want, on occasion, I have diced up or sliced up mushrooms, put that in and cook that in the sauce. And then I pour it over ravioli, tortellini. It is delicious. So keep that in mind with this sauce. And it's going to be something new for me, because instead of using the cherry tomatoes, I'm using the sun-dried tomatoes. So this sauce is on anything, chicken, fish, pasta. So that ought to be interesting to try that. All right, I did flip the salmon and I put it on again.
When we make this recipe, we also deglaze the pan with a little bit of white wine too, but that's
Yes.
optional, that's an option.
Yes, I'm going to make the sauce right in here. And yeah, because I had put some oil, and then when we put some butter, so we're going to deglaze pan, which means when you put the liquid and stuff in, you're going to get up those nice little brown bits, and the flavor of the salmon is coming through in your sauce as well. And that's fine to serve over, unless someone is allergic to salmon or really doesn't like the taste. That's fine to also do. Put this on chicken, fish, or any type of fish. This would be nice with shrimp too. Scallops. All right.
Okay,
Any
want another
questions?
fact?
Oh yeah, go ahead. Another
Okay,
fact.
here we'll go with more stuff. I brought stuff just in case. So, did you know that salmon has the biggest list of health benefits, including they're a great source of potassium. They have selenium, so if you're feeling a little blue, it's a good thing to eat. They have multiple different kinds of antioxidants. They help reduce the risk of heart disease. They also can help with weight control, and they're an excellent source of protein and omega-3 fatty acids.
Yes, I know that they have a lot of benefits.
Mhm.
And we do eat a lot of it. Well, we love the taste of it. When my daughter was little, she used to say, I want the pink fish. That's what she used to call it.
That's cute.
One other thing I'll mention since we have a moment, for any of you that if you go on YouTube, we do have the Friendly Community Center has a YouTube channel. So simply by going to YouTube and in the search, if you put the Friendly Community Center, I think we're only like the second one down, you'll see the Friendly Community Center. You click on it and you will see, actually you'll see videos from flamingo flocking. You'll also see some Tai Chi videos, but you'll also see the FCC Foodies. So each segment will appear on there as well. So if there's something you want to go back and look at, you can go there and see the videos from this point on.
Oh, good.
There you
Now,
go.
what was that again? You said YouTube?
You just go to
what?
YouTube, and then look for the Friendly Community Center, and that takes you to our channel. And then you'll see all the different videos that we have.
Oh, okay. Definitely going to look that up. Now, as I had said in the beginning, how our recipes have come about was because, you know, Kat had mentioned about the parsley. So, and that created that to make the tabbouleh recipe for today. And then she also mentioned about Lent, and it might be nice to give a seafood recipe. And Nicole had some nice salmon recipes. I chose this one. So we do take recommendations. If you say, you know, I like to make, you know, whatever it is, if it's a family favorite, feel free to, you know, open up your kitchen and make it for us. Or if you don't want to do that, you know, send me the recipe or give it to Nicole, and we'll, you know, put it in some type of rotation, because this is, you know, for all of us to see what we, you know, what we like, and some different ideas. And I like these two recipes because they're a little versatile. You know, with the tabbouleh, it could be the traditional Lebanese, or you can add whatever else you want to make it heartier. With this particular recipe, it can be the salmon, it can be, you know, haddock, it can be halibut, shrimp, scallops, anything you want. So you can change that up. And this sauce, great on, you know, like I said, raviolis. I made it very similar. Very similar, and I tried it and I put it over raviolis. It was delicious because my daughter is a vegetarian, and she came down, and sometimes it's like, oh, quick, you know, what can I make? And I found that recipe, and fortunately I had the ingredients in the refrigerator and some frozen raviolis, and I quick whipped it up, and I was able to feed her, because usually sometime when she shows up, there's a chicken or something in the refrigerator that I cooked, and no, you can't have that. And you don't always feel like running out to Costas to get pizza. Yeah, we had tried, a friend recommended the Rana brand, R-A-N-A. It's not in the frozen section, and they have, you know, the chicken and roasted garlic. They have the spinach and ricotta. They have tortellini. They have a whole bunch of stuff. Mushroom, lobster. We like them. They're, you know, they're very, very, very flavorful. Oh, one of the things I did want to say about the garlic, if you like garlic, but you don't like the strong garlic, you could cut it down. Or if you roasted your garlic, it gives it a milder, nutty flavor, and it's not as strong. That's, again, your preference. All right, let me take out the salmon. Look it over real quick here, see what we're doing. Oh, that looking good. and it is popping. All right, so I'm gonna take it out and lay it aside. All right, and here comes this delicious sauce. All right, because the salmon doesn't soak up the oil, you know, there is still oil in the pan, so they want me to use butter. I will use a little for the flavor, but I won't use a whole bunch. So I'm going to put in not even a tablespoon of butter, like maybe a teaspoon. Put that in there. Drop that. Okay, saute that around.
What do they say? If you drop a utensil, company's coming? Is that the?
Yeah. Okay, and as I'm doing that, there's some oil in the pan getting up some of these nice little bits. Now I'm going to put in my onions. I'm going to saute those up first. They take a little bit longer. That is smelling good. And because some of the juices did escape from the salmon, it's giving it a beautiful smell. All right, so we'll let that soften up.
For anyone on here that may not be familiar, would you like to demonstrate how you know when salmon is cooked?
Usually when you press it, it's nice and firm. You don't feel it just sinking in, or you can, if you want, just stick a fork in the center and you know, open it up. Do you have another way, Nicole?
Also too, they say if it flakes apart easily, that it's also done as well. If it stays together in one piece, it probably needs a couple more minutes to cook.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's another good tip. All right, the onions are softening up. We'll give them a couple more minutes here.
I think this might be one of my most, what's the word? That I can't wait until we can all be in one room together for. How fun will it be when we can cook together and we can sample together?
Oh, yes,
Right?
Now you're talking.
Well, as I had said to you, Nicole, that's something I would always wanted to do.
Yes.
Is you know, have you know, you're limited, but you know, have people in, have your menu. Everyone gets assigned something, or they choose, and then we sit down and we all enjoy it together.
Yes. That will be and you know, and not for nothing, maybe it's something we can come up with some recipes that we could prepare in an outside venue and maybe do it, you know, when the weather comes nice.
Oh yeah, yeah, and that's nice. You know, I have a grill. You know, there's outlets out there. You know, this frying pan can go out, and yeah, and then there's a little more room to walk around, and you know. Oh yes, yes, definitely. Yeah, when I was over line dancing the other week, I was walking around in the kitchen and looking if something like that could work. You know, we could always bring a frying pan or something like that. All right, so now the onions, they are, we don't necessarily want them brown, but they are a little brown only because of the bits and stuff, but they're nice and soft. They're translucent when you touch them. You know, they give. Now I'm going to add in the garlic and give that a minute to cook around. Oh, the smell of garlic. I love that. Okay, so once the garlic is cooking, So I have the garlic and onion, and then I'm going to pour in the wine or the broth. Remember, you can use chicken broth or vegetable broth, and we're going to allow it to reduce a little bit. And finding my wine right here, a third a cup of wine, so it's not too, just gives a nice flavor. Oh boy, I found a little garlic stuck in the bowl. I like to clean out my bowls. And if you roast the garlic in the oven, keep it in the refrigerator, you can use that for cooking too if someone in the family doesn't like the sharpness of garlic. And sometimes if they don't like garlic, they like the roasted garlic. All right, now here goes the wine.
Mm.
Oh, hear that sizzle.
Mm-hmm.
No, good.
Yes, it does.
I can smell it, Barbara, all the way from Cranberry Creek Road.
Yes.
Because you live near us.
Oh, yes, yes. If I open the door, it'll go right down to you.
Right. Yeah, when we do outside, everybody would bring like a homemade dessert or something, you know, to celebrate
Yes.
life.
Mhm. Okay, that is reducing nicely. I'm
And
going to
Barb's getting a little facial in the process.
Yes, I am.
A little steam facial.
I'm going to add the sun-dried tomatoes. Soften them up a little bit. And then we're going to want a cup and a third, 1 3/4 cup of half and half.
Just a side note too, if you have somebody that's lactose intolerant, you can use lactate milk or any dairy-free milk. We've even used
Fairlife,
Yeah.
Fairlife or
Coconut
something.
milk.
they all work well. And you
Mhm.
can use just
Coconut
plain
milk.
milk too. You don't have to use the half and half. Just like Barb has the cornstarch, you can just might have to adjust that a little more accordingly,
Mhm.
but they all work.
Okay, so now I'm going to add the half and half, and that has to come up to temperature. The sun-dried tomatoes give it a nice smell. Yeah, because as you could see here, the sauce is a little, you know, like milk and wine. So yes, I'm going to definitely want to add, as soon as, you know, the cream comes up, definitely add, you know, my slurry of cornstarch and water. And then they want some pepper.
Hungry.
Actually, seems to be thickening. I didn't add the cornstarch yet. Okay. All right, now I'm gonna add the spinach and allow it to wilt.
That's a lot of
Yeah.
You do the whole thing? Mm.
I'm
No,
gonna-
but spinach is one of those crazy things, you know, it reduces like half. It's crazy.
Yeah.
You think
Yeah.
you've got like too much and next thing you know, you don't have enough.
Yes.
Right.
Lower the temperature a little bit because I don't need it real high. So then once I do that, I add the Parmesan cheese and then I'll see if I need to thicken it. I have a feeling I'm not because the half and half started to, as it was warming up, it started to thicken nice. Ernie's getting hungry. What else is new, right? See how it's reducing already?
Mm-hmm.
Only takes a minute or two. Give it a little more. Like I said, this sauce is great over pasta, chicken, whatever, you know, another type of seafood. And my variation is with the cherry tomatoes, sauteed, plumped, pop base split. I also like to roast the cherry tomatoes in the oven and put them on pizza.
Oh, yeah.
There was a delicious recipe for pizza that was on, we watch Home and Backyard Saturday mornings. Half of a minute longer. They made pizza on flatbread and they put some Cooper cheese, one of my favorites, on it. Caramelized onions. They take a while on the stove, but they're delicious, nice and brown. Put that over it. Your cherry tomatoes that have been roasted, and they use a Beretta cheese. They just, you know, crunch it up all over, put it in the oven. Oh, that is good. I'll have to make that. Maybe when we all get together and people can taste. All right.
That looks good.
All right. See how everything just down.
Shrinking.
I'm going to turn this off. Add the Parmesan cheese. They always say to turn off the heat or pull the heat or pull it off the heat when you stir in your cheese so it doesn't separate and you don't really need the heat anymore. All right, that looks delicious, that sauce. And you know what? It's thick enough that I don't need to add the cornstarch. It thickened up nicely. Now I'm going to just add back in the salmon and put the lid on and heat that up. Because the salmon was here sitting. And then the salmon, as it was sitting here, gave off a little juice. So I'm going to add that right in. Not waste the thing.
Okay, for you.
And then when I serve it, I will top it with the parsley. I'm going to put this on a minute, turn it back on to just 250 to heat up the salmon, and you're ready for dinner. And it didn't take long at all. There, you know, other than cutting up your onion, pressing your garlic, your spinach you buy, whether it's frozen or packaged, your sun-dried tomatoes you have, cook it up, and very quickly you have a wonderful dinner or lunch for nice salmon and tabbouleh. Any questions on anything? Anyone have any questions? Does anyone have any recommendations for next time?
Well, we're going to be meeting, I believe it's on the 9th of March. So
Yes.
did we want to think Irish?
Mm-hmm. I was
yes,
thinking
temperature.
about maybe an Irish soda bread. There's
That's good.
there's a link that Ernie had sent me that had a bunch of Irish dishes on it to make, or something like a shepherd's pie or anything else like that. Let me know if you have your favorite, if it's something you like that, something that we could do in an hour. We don't want to do something like, corned beef and cabbage takes a while. Believe it or not, I've never made corned beef and cabbage. Only because corned beef is very, very high in sodium, and my hands and everything swell if I eat too much sodium. So we don't make that, but I have a nice recipe for Irish soda bread. Mix that up, put it in the oven, and that would come out within 25, 30 minutes. We can make, a shepherd's pie, anything.
Shepherd's pie might,
That's good. Yeah.
the shepherd's pie might be nice.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry, what did you say?
Shepherd's pie might be nice. If you
Yes.
Yeah,
could
that's
make it,
really
something
You want the
besides ground beef, you could make it with lamb or what is it, turkey or something like that.
Yes,
The traditional shepherd's pie does not use ground meat.
Mhm.
No?
Yeah, it uses some of them, they'll use the like the stew meat, cut real small. That's originally how I had it.
Correct.
You could make it with the ground beef. You could make it half ground beef, half lamb. A lot of times it is with lamb. I like lamb, so I don't have a problem with that. But anything that you would want, we could do. It's nothing more than cooking up your meat with your vegetables and your sauce, mashing your potatoes, putting it over, baking it in the oven. So that's something. Give us ideas, or if someone says, I have a great Irish recipe, you want to make it, feel free to do that. If not, we'll come up with ideas. But it's always nice if we're cooking for something that you want. So
Yeah,
please feel
it sounds
free
like
to.
Sounds like they were happy with the Irish soda bread.
Okay.
And we could give them both of our, well, I'll send you my recipe and you have your recipe and see what I bet they're probably very similar.
What's that for the which one for
the Irish soda bread?
Okay.
And then me, I soak my raisins in Irish whiskey.
Oh, okay. That I don't do.
Good flavor.
But it does make it's interesting. I feel like, I don't know, the bread's a little more, because my aunt used to make Irish soda bread and that thing was like a brick, like you could use it as a paperweight, and it was dry. And so I never liked it until the one day I found a recipe and I tried it and I was like, and you baste it with butter and it comes out quite nice.
Nice.
The one year I made something called Bubble and Squeak.
Yes, that's with sausage, isn't it?
Sausage and cabbage.
Oh.
Yes.
It was like I had to get I got a special kind of sausage and stuff. It was okay. I will say to you ladies, it was okay. It wasn't like, oh wow, I'm gonna make, like, I actually threw the recipe away because I was like not impressed with it. I think I was more impressed the name. I like the Bubble and Squeak because that just sounded funny to me.
Yes.
But there's like a Guinness stout cake. We could make what's that Irish? Well, Barb and I will think. We'll come up with something.
Yeah.
Yeah, in my Irish soda bread, I put caraway seeds, and raisins. So, I do like it that way. So let me just show you.
That looks very nice.
Here is, what it looks like, and then
Juicy.
juicy, and then
Juicy.
serve it with a little parsley on top. And there you have it.
Wait, Ernie, where's your fork?
Oh, he's ready. He's behind the scenes. He's all ready.
I'm standing right here. I have a comment. Barbara loves to cook and bake. I love to eat. So I'm a lucky, lucky man.
You are.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Thank you so much, Barbara.
Thank you,
gotta go on-
ladies.
on
Hope
dentist.
you enjoyed. And,
Okay.
you know, please try this. And again, this sauce on anything, it is delicious. All righty. All right. Thank you. Have a great day.